have been chosen to lead this initiative, to oversee our first and last line of defense. Your efforts will have considerable influence on this planet's future. We urge you to keep that in mind as you proceed. Good luck, Commander.
What's up everyone, Darcblade here bringing you my video review for Xcom Enemy Unknown. Now, firstly I want to apologise because I know this review is slightly late because the game has been out a little while now, but I still really wanted to voice my opinion on the game and give you this review. Developed by Firaxis Games and published by 2K Games, Xcom Enemy Unknown was released October 9th in North America and October the 12th in the EU and Australia. Now I should state that Xcom Enemy Unknown is a reimagining, a remake of the 1994 game UFO Enemy Unknown, also known as Xcom UFO Defense. Now, does this remake actually live up to its predecessor? Well, in my opinion, it does. Now, I must confess that I haven't played the original games in any extensive manner. I've only briefly played them. But I'm not here to talk about the 1994 version of the game. I'm here to talk about the 2012 version. Now, what is Xcom Enemy Unknown? Well, it's a turn-based strategy game where you control a group of multinational soldiers, engineers and scientists that create this organization known as Xcom, which is short for Extraterrestrial Combat Unit. Through the Xcom, you have to prevent an alien invasion of Earth. Now, I would describe the game as being divided into two sections. The first section is the planning section, base building section, basically the story section. During these moments, you'll have interactions with various characters, you'll have the opportunity to build your base, you'll have the opportunity to build weapons, research new technologies, so on and so forth. You also get the opportunity to manage the resources, the finances coming into the XCOM project from the various nations around the world who support it. You're also able to go to the barracks and hire new soldiers from around the world, although you don't really get a say in which nation they come from. Now, one of the most appealing aspects of Xcom Enemy Unknown to me was the soldier customization. Whilst it might not be the most extensive by any means, it does have a few vital points. For example, being able to simply rename the soldiers makes the game so much more fun to play. Being able to rename the soldiers as friends or family makes you care about the soldiers, and you do get a little bit sad when your mate from down the road takes a plasma bolt to the head. Your soldiers will also be assigned different roles, different classes in the game. There's the Assault Trooper, Support, Heavy and Sniper. Each class comes with their own perks. You even got a talent tree for each class type as well. So you want to mix and match them a little bit. Try to take a team that can take on any possible event, because most of the time in XCOM Enemy Unknown, you don't know who you're going to be facing. Anyway, once you're set up and ready to go, you go to the world map where you scan for alien abductions or other alien activity. Once you've found something, you send off your soldiers to deal with it. And this is where the second part of the game takes place, which is the turn-based strategy section. Here you will control the squad of soldiers you've elected to take part in battle over a small to large sized map, depending on the actual scenario you've been given. Here you'll take it in turns to move your soldiers around the map, setting them up into strategic positions in order to eliminate the alien menace. During these battles, every soldier can perform two actions. For example, they can move and then move again, or they can move and shoot, or move and then go into Overwatch. Overwatch is sort of like a, shall we say, a trap move, where if an enemy moves into your soldier's line of sight who's in Overwatch, they will instantly shoot at them. This also applies to how the enemy perform. The aliens will do exactly the same as your soldiers can do, so they can move and move, move and shoot, so on and so forth. Cover is heavily used in this game, so when you're moving your soldiers around the battlefield, please be aware of where you're moving them to. Some cover can explode, for example, some cover can be destroyed, but when it comes down to it, cover will dictate to whether or not your soldier gets killed or not. When it comes to attacking options in Xcom Enemy Unknown, it all comes down to percentages. It takes into account the weapons that your soldiers are using, the distance to your enemy, the type of cover the enemy has. This will give you an overall percentage of whether or not you'll be able to actually hit your opponent. As you go through the game, you'll come across numerous enemy types. It's not just all one type of alien either. You'll come across aliens that take a few hits to bring down, and then you'll come across big, massive, towering mechanical machines that take a lot of effort to take out. It really does take a lot of thought to try to deal as much damage to the enemy as you possibly can, whilst at the same time trying to protect your soldiers from dying. You'll be setting up traps and using Overwatch quite a lot to try to coax the enemy into taking needless damage. You'll be trying to work out how to successfully flank the enemy to deal the most amount of damage you can possibly do. Also during the game, you'll be given some objective-based missions, for example defusing a bomb, where time is of the essence, so you have to try to defuse the bombs around the map as quickly as possible. As the game goes on, new elements will be introduced into both aspects, both areas of the game, both the planning stage and the actual battle stage. For example, psychic powers will eventually be an aspect of the game, and you will be able to, shall we say, develop psychic soldiers able to deal out psychic damage to opponents. These psychic soldiers are very versatile and very useful in the field. They will also be given their own psychic talent tree to go alongside their class talent tree. However, this works both ways as well, because eventually the enemy, the aliens, will start using psychic attacks against your soldiers as well. The worst being mind control. Now overall, the gameplay, in my opinion, is the best thing about this game. The story is, shall we say, a little bit wafer thin. It's a basic bog standard invasion sort of story. Nothing to shout home about, but it doesn't distract from the actual gameplay, in my opinion. The story, to be honest, in my opinion, is just to sort of guide you slightly to create your own alien invasion story. There are multiple difficulty settings, but even the easiest is not a walk in the park. And as for the hardest settings, well, they are truly sadistic sometimes. However, this is part of the fun, this is part of the challenge, and this is part of what makes Xcom Enemy Unknown a good game. The graphics for Xcom Enemy Unknown, whilst not anything to shout home about, are acceptable in my opinion. They're nice and vibrant and colourful, but shall we say they're not the most detailed. There is a few clipping issues, especially in the battle sections, but apart from that, they're acceptable. Overall, Xcom Enemy Unknown to me was a missed gem, a missed hit, because I didn't take heed of it when it was actually released. I only got it for Christmas, and I am regretting that I didn't get it when it first came out. The gameplay in this game is fantastic. It's a game that I can spend hours, days with, and still be entertained. If you love strategy games or are slightly interested or intrigued by what you've seen of Xcom Enemy Unknown, then I would advise you, implore you to go out and buy this game. You won't be disappointed. Anyway, I've been Darcblade, and I hope you enjoyed my video review of Xcom Enemy Unknown.